There he is. Happy 4th
Hola.
of July. Happy,
Nice.
happy 4th of July.
You know,
Yeah, but did you
it
set
doesn't
off
mean
fireworks?
fireworks. Fireworks are like one thing that hasn't been improved in the last 50 years. Like they don't have like new ones that say like words or like you blow them up and they say like Happy Fourth or fuck you or whatever. They just like the same old shit. And
Yeah.
actually, the kids in our neighborhood have like their own. So they just do like prank shit where they get the real pro fireworks and they go to the end of the street and they set them off and they're like right by the houses. So it's like become like mischief night. But it's cool.
Well,
Like they set them off right next to the house and like they're all like they blow up and they're pretty and everything, but then they run away. So it's cool, but you know, it's probably not very safe. But our neighbors were like pretty pissed about it. They're like, that was too close. So,
but isn't it maybe not a good idea in California when it's really
yeah,
dry? Yeah,
yeah.
that's the
So
problem.
I know who it is. I know who in the neighborhood who buys the professional ones. Like, you know, not like the sparklers or the like little snapdragons or whatever. Like the ones that like people pay to watch. You know, like
Yeah.
the big ones. And it's funny that nowadays they just set them off. Like they grab a few and they buy a few at a border of some state or something, and they set them off right by the houses. And it's like a scary 4th of July. It's mischief night and the 4th of July mixed together, and I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
But there is the danger of, yeah, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, I mean, around here nothing could really catch on fire, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't appreciate it as a nationwide prank idea.
Yeah, of course. And I've remembered the stories of my parents telling me back in the day, people got crazy and they had those M80s, the big M80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And of course, there was the story I've heard, maybe we've all heard the story. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's very sad, but somebody lights the M80 and throws it and the dog goes and gets it. And then
Well, no, I knew the Childers twins, the Childers brothers that were friends of ours at Westchester. They were twins, and Justin,
okay.
I forget the other one's name, but one of them blew their hand off with an M80, and
Yeah.
that's how we could tell the difference between the two. I was like, "Are you
Okay.
Justin?" Oh no, Justin and Ian. I'm like, "Are you Justin?" Oh wait, no, you have your whole hand. You're Ian. Okay.
Oh man, that's horrible.
It's horrible, but it's true.
I was asking my mom, but I'll ask you, like, what's the consensus like in the US? Is it a good 4th of July? Is everybody like, yeah, or is it like just every other 4th of July?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't go out. Whenever there's a day that like everybody's gonna be out,
Yeah.
that's my warning to stay in. I don't want to be where there's traffic or there's people or, you know, crowds of people are always targeted anyway. So I don't want to be around that. So 4th of July is one of the most meaningless holidays for me, you know, specifically because it just doesn't mean anything anymore because the country's gone to shit. But I mean, you know.
Mag 622 says in New York City it was pretty busy more than usual. That's interesting. I wonder if he's in like, you know, Times Square or New York City or what part of New York you're in.
Well, I think that if I'm not mistaken, that New York City is like more open now than ever. And JCS Small says he or she caught Smunday while eating mushrooms.
Now I have a question for you, Darren. Do you think he actually reached his hand out and caught Smunday because he's like he's like, oh, I caught it.
He caught it. He caught it while it was on its way to you. I don't know.
Yeah. That was so stupid, but I had to do it. We had no. Wow, everybody's like doing stuff. But see, there's a lot of people, I bet you, that are watching this that are not in the U.S., so they're not really celebrating 4th
Lucky
of July.
them.
Yeah, Atomic
them.
Robin joined. I'm in Chicago, and there are tons of fireworks out. Yeah, well, there should be. It's 4th of July.
And you always know when your dogs are freaking out, if you have animals, if they're freaking out, and then you know there's fireworks going on. But like I said, like in fireworks are just like, they're because they haven't improved on them. Like they haven't made like new ones, you know, like
Yeah.
they just keep doing the same thing every year, and it's cool, but it's like the same thing I've been watching since I was 3. Like they haven't improved upon it at all, you know, which is, you know, they improve upon everything. It's not always a good thing that they change shit around, but fireworks are something that you would think like eventually they would come out with new ones and be like, this year presenting the, you know, blah, 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 you know, whatever they are, you know.
Daughter of the Water joined, and she lives pretty nearby you. What's it like, Daughter in the Water with fireworks? Because she's more in the woods, I think, than you. But
In
you
the
just,
woods.
yeah, she's a great independent singer songwriter. Daughter of the Water. She really rocks. I like her. And she's watching. Chaos TV joined. All right.
Matthew Sitchenbaum joined. Remember Matthew Sitchenbaum?
I do remember Matthew Sinterbaum's flamingo bass.
No, but I remember his awesome metal work with
Yes.
Precious Metals, which is actually funny because he's like a metalhead, but not in that way. He's interested in making rings and necklaces, and he made all of the foreign objects and the alliance emblems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my parents got in touch with him because my parents want to do like this line of 96 Bitter Beings jewelry.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like it was interesting to hear that my dad was interested in that because he's retired, and
Okay.
he was always busy doing the what he was doing, and now he's like taking an interest in like, you know, what I want to do now. So they just came up with that idea. So I was like, Dad, go ahead. If you want to do it, go with it. Awesome.
Yeah. And Matthew Sinterbaum is definitely the guy to talk to because he does come up. Ben Forms. Ben Forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. For Christ's sake. Yes. Yeah. And I didn't know. I'm waiting to hear back. He says he's waiting to hear back from my parents.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Matt Sinterbaum and Ben Forms has been such a I don't know what to call it. It's like an extra benefit. It's like
Yeah.
something that most groups of friends don't have. You know, if you're in a band or you're doing something, you don't have a friend that bends metals and makes really cool gold and platinum merch. He made my wife's wedding ring. You know, it's like a platinum wedding ring with a ladybug in the middle because she's, you know, she is into ladybugs, and yeah, and then you know he disappeared, and now he's back. So
Yeah.
and my dad always remembered him because he had a solid gold CKY ring made. We both did, and I still have it. But it's cool maybe that he's going to be, hopefully if he wants to, he'll be doing 96 Bitter Beings jewelry.
Do you have any ideas for that, or do you think that your parents will be the ones that are strictly designing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, they want to clear everything through me, but I mean, I think the obvious thing is just to do the logo in some way.
Yeah.
You know, like the necklaces. You know, we can do them in all kinds of affordable metals. We can do like gold and platinum and stuff like that. He's a many all-nighters. Yeah, it took him a long time. It took him a long time to do that stuff, and my parents developed a relationship with him, and because you know, jewelry and parents, that's the only, I mean, if you're in a rock band, the only thing that you might have in common with your parents is like that you're doing jewelry, you know, like what mom doesn't like jewelry, you know, at our age. So it's like perfect. Yeah, I mean, my mom wants to have jewelry made, my dad wants to have jewelry of his son's band, you know, and Matt can do all kinds of things differently with metal, and it's like top notch. It's like top notch perfect. Like you wouldn't look at it and be like, God.
No, it's
Yeah,
totally correct.
yeah.
And I remember he, speaking of Matthew Citronbaum, which is like the Fourth of July Matthew Citronbaum show, but I remember back in the mid to late '90s going to his place to see him do all of his work, and back then in the mid to late '90s, he was an expert
Yeah.
and amazing. So just imagine now it's probably out of control.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like the last thing that it's so strange because back then in Westchester and in the early 2000s or whatever, we had such a very diverse, talented group of friends. It was like we didn't have any friends that didn't have some kind of talent of some sort. Like you didn't have somebody hanging around that did nothing, you know. Like if they didn't have some kind of talent, it wasn't like we didn't have anything in common, and it's hard to get along with somebody that doesn't have any like kind of ambition or talent, whether it be I'm awesome at fixing refrigerators, or I'm great at the drums, or I play guitar, or I know how to act, or I know how to sing, and I know how to do weird shit, or make fun of people, or make stuff out of metal. Like there was always like somebody had like a profession in our group, you know, and I think that's what made the whole thing work nationwide eventually, is that we were all in.
But I think today, like, it would, people would be like, well, my special talent is I play video games.
No, that's not.
And then you'd be like, well, how is that supposed to help us?
Yeah, that's not a trade. I mean, that's not a trade. That's not a career unless you somehow like
A gamer, like
yeah, but
coding or something.
It's a very strange time. I don't want to put any of those YouTube people down because
No, I don't
they're
either.
doing great. They're doing great, but it's like eventually that's going to pass. So you need to have something that people are going to want all the time, you know? And I just hope those kids save their money. You know, that's all I can say. I hope they save.
It would be cool to have like a 96 like game, like an app or a video game or something. So actually that would be kind of cool.
Well, we were gonna do that, but like when we got the sample, the prototype of the game back, this was years ago. We were shocked at what we saw. We didn't know that to do like a PS4 or PS3 kind of video game cost millions of dollars. So when we hired this video game group to do like a CKY video game, it came back and it was like Atari 2100. It wasn't even like 2600 good. And we were shocked. But what's interesting is that now it probably would be cool because everybody's going back to those simple block,
Yeah,
kind of
they
block
are.
Atari games.
Yeah.
But back then it would have been unheard of. So
yeah, it's true. Refu Noj says, hey Matt, you screen print. Did you print the merch back then, like the random stuff? I do screen print. I made this shirt, for example, and I love to do it, but I'm saving up to buy my own equipment, and I would love to start screen printing again because I actually enjoy it. It's really cool.
I didn't know you did that. I thought maybe he was talking about Citronbaum.
No, yeah, I'm like, dude, and I don't say this to brag or anything, but I'm like really, really good at screen printing. I got really good at it.
Really?
And I enjoy it. Yeah, I actually got a job working at a screen printing shop just so I could learn more. And I ended up teaching the guy at the screen printing shop some things that I knew. And he was like, yeah.
That's when you know to get lost. Like my last guitar player, or my last guitar teacher, actually, Rick Craig. He was so awesome, and I've talked about Rick Craig. He was the last guitar teacher that I had in 1990, and Nocturnal Fear guys he was their teacher, and
okay.
Eventually I was just like, I started riffing on my own, and I was listening to new stuff that was, like Metal and Justice for All, Black Metal, Metallica, Megadeth, and stuff like that. And he was like, well, okay, I don't know that stuff. So you want to be a rhythm guitar player? You're done with me. Go. And so it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go off now, and I think I got it. I think I'm on my way. So that was the last guitar teacher I had.
So you were almost teaching your teacher stuff at that point.
Kind of, but it was more like I would like I had been with him for a while, and I was always asking him like how do I do this? Like, what should I do? And then I would come in and I would still have that habit of being like, what do you think I should do? Should I do this? And he'd be like, yeah, that's what you do. And I'm like, okay, for this, like, should I do this? He's like, yeah, that's what you do. And I was like, okay, well, I think I'm ready to be it's like either I fly or I drop, so I just said, okay, cool.
That's cool. But this was during the foreign objects time?
No, way before that.
Okay.
This is like 1990. Right before I moved to Westchester, I lived in Marlton. It was in Maple Shade. It was called New Horizons School of Music. You could look it up. Maybe it's still there. I doubt it, but
Maple Shade. I know I've heard of Maple Shade.
Yeah, Maple Shade, New Jersey. New Horizons School of Music. And yeah, I remember a lot of kids in school were like, oh, I want to learn how to play guitar too. And I was like, well, you should come to Maple Shade New Horizons School of Music. And all right, and then, it was time for me to leave, and I moved away. And
hey, Darren, I have a question. You know how you were saying that like 4th of July, the fireworks don't really change. They're not getting better.
Yeah, they're not improving. God damn them. They're trying, but it's just not good enough.
But I wonder if anybody in the chats, or maybe you might know, like, is like growing up and starting to play guitar, is that also the same? Has that not changed? I mean, are people still like going to guitar lessons at the music store and doing things like that? Or what do you think it's like to be like a teenager learning guitar today? I have no idea.
Maybe we should find some.
Yeah.
And have them on the show and see what it's like to be one of
that would be cool.
Possibly very few people in their age group that are doing it. I would love to maybe get a group of 5 to 10 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 10 to 16, 17 that are trying to learn how to play guitar. And the fact that we're asking for that because we think that it might not be possible, that's kind of sad. But at the same time, I would like to see, I don't want to see kids that are being forced to play by their parents.
Yeah.
Something like that. I would like to see like kids that have said, oh my God, that's cool. I want to learn how to do that. And the parents maybe are like, what? And that would be better.
A lot of people in the chats are saying YouTube, or there's, and I never, because YouTube wasn't a thing for me. I never really thought to go look on YouTube in 1994. So.
Yeah, well, no, but YouTube can help you only so much because you don't have anybody in the room. Like, YouTube isn't live. It's not like somebody's going to be like, no, don't do that. You're going to watch a video of somebody doing it. The whole point of having a teacher is having somebody that's going to stop you and correct you and say, no, don't do that. That's not the right way to do it. You do this. So you can watch these, like I tried to watch a YouTube video to fix a sink once, and it was like moving ahead, and I had to pause it, and it didn't have anything for things that came out of nowhere. Like, what if this is dripping? What if this is happening underneath? You have to have, in order to be taught something, a YouTube video is only going to do so much. So you need to have a real teacher to be there with you to say, that's good. You need somebody to compliment you so that you stay motivated. Because if you don't have somebody to say good job, to put a gold sticker on your fucking paper, then it's pointless. You have to have somebody to tell you when you're doing good and when you're doing bad, and a YouTube video doesn't do that. So that can only get you so far.
But that's the thing, like, exactly, you can't stop a YouTube video and ask a question, but at the same time, that's what we're asking, because I think a lot of people are listening to us saying, like, you guys are crazy. We just use YouTube. They don't understand, like, a real teacher in the room is like a thing, like because they're on Skype. And then that's another thing, Skype, or like online lessons. again, something that I tried to do it and I can't do it. Like, I mean, I
I
tried to
wouldn't
give
do it.
lessons. I can't.
I never
I can't.
tried it. So many people have suggested it to me. Why don't I do Skype lessons? One, the freezing. One, I can't see. Like if I was going to teach a student, which I did a couple last year, I was a guitar teacher for this
Okay.
company. This God, I can't even remember what it was called, but I had a few students. I taught in an elementary school. I did this just for fun, just for the experience. I taught a class of 8 kids how to play keyboard, and a class of 8 kids how to play guitar. But I realized, and this is the reason why I quit. I realized that they weren't there to learn; they were there to be daycare. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
right.
it was an after school function so that the parents didn't have to pick them up until 6 o'clock instead of 3:30, when they got out. So I did it for the experience. It definitely wasn't a financial thing, but I wanted to see what it was like to teach kids how to play music. And like they had the cheap keyboards and the really bad guitars they weren't even like real guitars, they were pretend guitars.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I quit, is they were like Toy Story guitars and they weren't even like built to really play. They were just toys, so.
Well, this is a family-oriented show, and of course, if there are any teenagers that would like to come on and join us, we would love to talk to you. I noticed, Darren, that you even you posted something with there was like a young boy that went to the first rock and roll concert, and you signed. He had like some CKY hat or something. I don't know if what was the story with that? Did his parents bring him to the show or?
You're probably talking about Tony Sombrano's son, Johnny.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays trombone, I think.
Okay.
Now, that's old school. Like that's the kind of stuff that like I was watching a cooking show yesterday where these 8-year-old kids were making meals that you would buy at a restaurant and the bill would come to $200, $300. And I said,
Okay.
where does the ambition and the interest in this kind of cooking come from? Because when kids are distracted by online stuff and their attention spans are so short, I guess I don't know where it happens, but like every once in a child, there's one kid that doesn't go to that and says, I want to learn to do something that probably nowadays you could say this will probably be your career. There's not much competition because no other kids are doing this, so do it. And I think it's fascinating. It's sad to think that kids wanting to do something, creative is fascinating, but it is, I don't
And
know.
it's all about the kids, and we were talking about this the other day, like, the fact that Darren's out playing 96 shows, hopefully soon, and kids are going to go see that, hopefully, and learn what rock and roll is, and hopefully go back home and start a band in their garage, not on Skype, because these kids might be like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's start a band on Skype. Well, that's not going to work. You
Oh,
can't.
anything to sit at home on your fucking fat ass, I think. Like, oh, let's just stay at home and do everything. Dude, I'll
Yeah.
download this filet mignon and I'll send it to you. It doesn't work
Interesting.
like that.
No.
I think the internet is getting old. I know I'm getting old, but even though I've been on the internet for longer than most of the kids that are on YouTube, I mean, if there's a 17-year-old kid playing video games on YouTube, I've been on the internet longer than him. So I kind of feel like this shit's getting old, And I think the whole thing of going back to wanting to own things, wanting to have things, wanting to create out of real stuff, real things, having a raw chicken, having raw tomatoes, having raw onions, having all this stuff, and like trying to create something with it is going to be the future. And all this YouTube media shit that's strictly online is going to be dated. You know, it's just getting boring.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I guess today you could essentially start a rock and roll band on Skype, and maybe kids do that because that's what they do. But what we're saying is, if you want to be traditional and actually do something for real, you get into a room with other people and actually play together. And that's what we would be trying to tell people to do. But I would be, I mean, I'm sure there's apps, there's probably band apps where people can join a band on an app or something. I don't know. I'm guessing.
That's just the laziness of my kids' generation. You know, they want to do everything online. They don't want to have to go anywhere. They don't want to have to work. They don't want to have to drive an hour to a drummer's house. That shit is just getting old, you know, because I hate to say it, because I have 3 kids in this age group, but if you spend all your time online and you don't develop a craft that can be used outside of your house, you're fucked, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that well, I know that, but I wish I didn't know that these people are going to be very depressed, and they're going to feel unfulfilled, and they're going to feel bored and miserable, because a human being needs to not socialize, but they need to be in certain life experiences that expand their personality and get them to certain places that their comfort zone might not allow them if they didn't have to. So I had to do a lot of stuff that was outside of my comfort zone. Traveling was one of them. You know, I wanted to be in a rock band, but besides recording albums, the second thing you do as a rock band is travel the world. That terrified me. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to leave my house, you know, but you had to face the fear, and you had to go out of that comfort zone area and do it. And you'll find out eventually that it's not that bad to do something that you're really uncomfortable with. But these kids don't really do anything. I mean, they go online, they do their YouTube, they do their online thing, and like if on the weekends when they feel bored, they might go like 20 feet from their house, maybe throw an egg at somebody's house or scream something, or, you know, set up a firework and then run home. You know, and they always end up back home. So it's just, it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. I gotta go.
Well, speaking of actually doing work, that leads me to the next thing that we should talk about, which I'm sure people have been waiting for. But tell us, you had your video shoot. I know you can't tell much about it, but how was it?
I didn't say everything about it. I'll tell everything about it.
Well, but was it fun? Did you have fun, or was it?
Yes, I had fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 12-hour day. And basically, you know, my wife, Felissa, and Chris Rabb set up this entire thing at the last minute. They had all these people come in. We had catering. We had...
What?
It was like a movie set. Yeah, it was just incredible. The biggest production that I've ever had in a music video, which is very exciting, because for me to have the biggest production on a music video in my life, going back to all the Island videos and the Roadrunner videos and the BAM videos and all that stuff before, that's pretty fucking crazy. Now, you know, you don't always need that kind of a professional. Yeah, you don't need that, but the fact that people were jumping on board for that.
And
was so
your band members, they lucked out because that was probably like they're jumping in on like a cool ass music video right from the start. Those lucky
yeah.
bastards.
And you know, yeah. And it was cool because they got there really early. I thought I was going to be the first one there because
Okay.
Chris left my house at 8 a.m. No, he left my house at 7 a.m. And he woke me up and he was like, dude, be there at 8. And I was like, okay. I ran late. I got there like 8:40 or something. And Ken and Sean and Tim were already there. And I thought for sure I'd be the first one there, and I wasn't. And then like they built this really cool thing, you know. Rob at the studio had already created this huge set, this really cool thing. There was food, catering, and the snacks, and then it was just like a union movie thing. It was really cool. And Rab and I, you know, kind of directed it. You know, he had his ideas. I had written out the lyrics for him, and he had all these ideas of shots he would want to get. And then every once in a while, he would say, "Yo, I'm stuck. What should I do with this?" And I'd be like, "This is a good idea." And then he would go and he would do that idea. And then I would just watch the playback camera. I can't believe this was a week ago already, but it seems like yesterday. But I'd watch the playback camera, and I'd see something, and I'd be like, there's something better for that. And I would run into the other room where they were filming, and I'm like, don't do that, do this. And then I'd run back, and then I'd watch it on the screen, and it was just phenomenal for a music video in 2021. It was a phenomenal thing. So.
But you say it was the best, the biggest production video, but then again, you also say that this album is going to be the best album so far. So maybe that makes sense that they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it does. And I never, you know, I didn't send the word out there that I'm in the biggest, musically, the biggest and best time of my life musically. But it's sure been reflecting that way because the video, the way I feel about the record, I just think that I want to try some new things. You know, I want to try some new things with rock music that everybody's currently failing at. Because there's a reason why it's not the music everybody's listening to right now. I mean, there's a reason why we're stuck with all the pop shit and all that. And I think that it's an untapped reservoir. Rock and metal right now are an untapped reservoir of things that these kids need to discover for the first time in their lives. And it just needs to fucking come back. If I was a kid, you know, it's funny. When I was a kid and my dad used to say, well, back in my day, we used to do this. And I'd be like, that was boring and stupid. Now, like, my kids are doing things and I'm like, back in my day, we used to do things that were like awesome. And this is stupid. So it's like you know what I mean? It's like the generation gap is like our parents did boring and stupid shit. And now our kids are doing boring and stupid shit. And we used to do things that were awesome. You know what I mean? And the new way of doing things strictly online is not great. It's not a good replacement. It's a bad replacement. You know, my parents used to say, well, I used to go to the movies and we used to have black and white movies and watch that. And I'm like, well, now there's color TV. You know, now there's VHS tapes. You don't have to wait for a TV to come on. You know, now movies are on YouTube and all that stuff, but we have all the stuff that we had in the past is no longer available to kids in a mainstream sense. Like they're not told. It is told. They're not told to check out what's available. So they're confined to this really small world, just like our parents were, you know?
I also think that because of the fact that like pop music, Ariana Grande, things like that.
Ariana Grande.
Well, we always bring her up. But anyway, I mean, kids today aren't thinking about having guitars in a garage and playing because they're online producing. They're mixing tracks. They're using a microphone with auto tune. But if they were more interested in holding instruments and playing, that's why it's very important for rock and metal to come back around the circle, so people can actually have something fun to do after school. And I think that School of Rock, you know, I worked for School of Rock and I thought it was fun, but looking back at it, I think School of Rock kind of ruined that whole thing because then they took something that was like supposed to be you and your friends are like doing something cool, making music. They brought it made it a school, and in a way it was cool, but at the same time, I mean, what kids want to be like going to school to learn rock?
That's
like,
true. I mean,
really, yeah.
Putting school at the front or the end of any kind of sentence
It's lame.
It's lame. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm lucky that I have 3 kids that are in this generation, in this whole Generation X thing or whatever, because I get to see the folly of what they're doing. And I notice that whenever something happens for them, it happens really quick and it lasts a very short amount of time. And it's just like they're not getting life experiences. You have to go out there and you have to be around other people. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be around other people. You have to get off your phone.
That's what, you know. Let's see. Atomic Robin says, well, there's a whole lot of auto-tune and backing tracks in rock and metal also. Pretty much everyone uses it. Yeah, but then I wouldn't call it rock and metal. I don't know. I know what you mean. Bands are doing, rock bands today think they're being clever by adding tracks and auto-tune, but really they're just ruining the craft, in my opinion.
Well, what happens is that you end up with a bunch of bands and people that sound the same. If you can't sing and you use auto-tune has a sound. So you end up with a sound. Your band sounds like an auto-tune band. Now you have 50 other bands that sound like they're auto-tuned. And if the thing is that if you don't have the talent, then you're up against other people that don't have the talent. And anybody that is bad at what they do can make themselves sound good. But so can all the other people that are bad at what they do. So you end up with this genre of music that sounds like bands that didn't know what they were doing that sound like they do. And that's not going to cut it. That's just going to be normal. That's going to be subpar. It's going to be subpar to sound amazing not being able to do music, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think you know, everybody, if you're using autotune, like you're right, like autotune has one sound. So if everybody's trying to use that sound, then everybody essentially is going to have a very similar sound, and that's not going to really set you apart from the rest. And I think that's the whole point. Like a band like Metallica or Megadeth, they tried to start something that was different, not having auto-tune.
Not different, but they try to improve upon it. Nobody improves upon it. And I mean Generation Z, not Generation X. I'm aware that my kids are Generation Z. Okay, it's the last letter of the alphabet. It's probably the last letter of our generation. Z. I mean, yeah. But that's what I mean. Generation Z, they suck. I mean, I don't know what to say. They don't have any life experiences. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with my daughter when she goes to college, because she is a very good student. She has a 4.3 grade point average. But then you have to wonder how good are teachers nowadays. They might be like, you get an F, you get an A, you know, like it doesn't. Back then, you know, there used to be like a book where everybody got the grade they want. I'm just saying that I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I wish people would get off fucking line. You know, even this show is online. I wish we could do this every Sunday in front of a park at a picnic table or something.
Yeah, so do I. And I think that the bands that use rock bands that are of course there's going to be a few that are innovative and do something cool with it, I'm sure, but for the most part most of them are not. They're going to do the same thing, And I think it's okay to use technology. Like we're doing this live stream. Yeah, it's a live stream and we're using the technology, but a lot of people watch this and they get inspired or they come up with ideas.
Yeah, they learn something. Yeah.
So I don't mind doing this, but if this is all I ever did, I would mind. I would be like, I need to stop live streaming because this is getting out of control. It's just, I need to walk outside and breathe the fresh air and do something, you know, with my hands or whatever. But
knock on somebody's door and ask them if they can fucking come out and play, you know, find out who your neighbors are, find out what's going on with other people. You know, people need to learn about their feelings, especially kids. They have these feelings and they can't learn about them except online. And your feelings have a lot to do with dealing with other people. So if you have certain interests or any of that stuff, you have to be able to connect with other people in person, not just online. You know, if you're angry about something, you can't just say I'm angry and then, you know, post your comment under somebody's page who's also angry. You have to like go out there and tell people you're angry or happy or just
or write a song. Write a song.
You don't see elephants hooked up to like elephants are very smart animals. You don't see them hooked up to a computer like talking about other elephants. Like they still go in herds, you know. They still see each other. They know each other. They do things. We're just this online entity, you know, and we're always fed this bullshit where somebody who's paid the most money to have their video seen first by you when you wake up isn't always the right thing. It's never the right thing. So let's take let's say that what we're saying right now, let's take this for example. Let's say that right now what we're doing has a lot of value. It's very educational. You know, what we're saying is inspiring, but somebody could pay Instagram, you know, $10,000 to say what we're doing is stupid and gay and sucks and is beyond the times, and then they would have people watch this video scrutinizing us that doesn't teach them anything. So it's like money equals views equals followers equals whatever that person has to say gets seen because they paid. You know, we're using outlets and we're using streaming companies to say that we don't like streaming companies. It's really bizarre. You know, we don't like the way that it's organized, where it's basically a commercial. If we want people to care about this show, what we're doing, what we're saying, it has to go beyond what we're saying and what we're trying to say. We have to pay, you know, to make.
Yeah, but that's I don't want to do that because, and neither do you, because the thing is, the only people that there's hundreds of millions of people that could potentially watch this because Instagram has hundreds of millions of people. But the thing is, all those hundreds of millions of people, most of them don't want to watch it, and I don't want those people to watch it. So the thing is, the only way you can get people to want to be interested in what you're doing is to actually get people to be interested in what you're doing. And that's by either going out physically around the world and meeting people on tour, or making great albums and people that listen to it, you know, want to find out more about you. The way not to do it is to pay people to post your stuff on Instagram, which everybody thinks that's what you need to do. They think you need to spend lots of money so you can get out there to all these people that actually don't care about you. Most of those hundreds of millions of people do not give a shit. They don't care. And I don't want them to be here on the show. Actually, I really don't, because they're not going to add any value to the show. People in the chats are adding value. They're saying interesting comments. They're giving us insights on their lives. Those are the types of people that we would want to have watching our show, not the people that saw a paid ad that live, you know, that just are not interested in what we're doing.
Yeah, there's people that are saying, oh, you
that's
don't have
the problem.
You don't have to pay.
Yeah.
The problem, people, oh, you don't have to pay. I see comments about, people are saying have to pay. I'm interested, but it's the responsibility of people that are interested that don't think we should have to pay to reach more people. It's their responsibility to spread the word. And word of mouth is something that needs help right now.
It does.
Because right now,
because that's the only way.
money is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Money is running the power, the control of what people see. If you hate what people are being forced to watch, because it's the first thing you're forced to watch when you wake up, is some stupid video or commercial for something that you would never watch or buy, then it's your responsibility to tell the people that will think that's cool that it's not. So word of mouth used to be the number one power and the number one outlet of ways to find out about new things. Now, people in this room may or may not be keeping this to themselves. Now, if you're keeping this to yourself and you think you don't have to pay, I'm watching, that's great, but something like this would have to grow. So it's up to them to tell other people to check it out, because we're not going to pay to make this bigger. If you said, Matty J, I want you, me and you should put in like 10 grand each to make Smunday like an awesome show, I'd be like, no, because all we would have is like people that would tune in just because it was like something that showed up on their, their list or something.
And I
so
think
it's up to people that want things to happen.
The value in word of mouth is exponentially greater than any paid marketing ad you can get, because like you said, there might be 30 people in here, but guess what? Those 30 people generally want to be here and they're actually contributing to the show. If we had 300 people.
But imagine if we just, all we had to do, imagine if we said, all right, there's 25 to 30 people in here right now. Next week, each person bring 4 people. Okay? Put your money where your mouth is. If we don't have 100 and over people next time, these people aren't committed to watching this show. They aren't committed to letting it grow. It's all for them. They want to keep it for themselves. And that's fine. But, in order for something to grow, it needs word of mouth. So I don't know if the people that are in here right now don't know anyone, or if they don't, if this is like their guilty pleasure and they tune in for a joke or they don't take it seriously or not. If you want the show to grow, tell 4 people, have them tune in next week. If you can't find 4 people that'll say, I can't get up that early or stay up that late, tell another 4 people, tell 20 people. That's
and also,
word of mouth is. But word of mouth.
And also, yeah, and if you tell 4 people to come in, I will make sure that we talk about something that you want us to talk about. We always ask, you guys have any topics? What do you guys want us to talk about? We will definitely do that, but you got to help bring some people to the show. Now, I think today was great because, of course, it's 4th of July, but we were talking about, the youth and about rock and roll. Again, everything that Smunday is about. I mean, we're trying to educate people about music and rock and roll and talk about, what's on our mind, and mental health is another thing I think that we've gone through a lot, and just about bands and people that we've met, people that Darren knows. I mean, Darren knows everybody. So, and he tells us about it. So it's cool that we all get to hear, all these stories with the different, and then having guests. Another thing, a lot of people were saying that they want to be guests. I asked last week, I said, who should we have as a guest? And a lot of the people were saying, me, I want to be a guest.
Of course. Who doesn't want to be a guest? Of course.
But
in order to be a guest, it's like, do you put it into words that won't make you sound like a 2021 asshole? I'm still being educated on stuff like that. Sometimes I don't know what not to say to not be an asshole in 2021, because you have to watch your mouth.
But isn't it an age, like, if
A
you're
shame.
like, what is it?
It's a shame. It's a shame you can't say what you want without people being like, okay, I'm not, you know what? Maybe this show should be about being able to say whatever the fuck you want, you know? Because, you know, if you're going to keep the show to yourself, I sound like I'm going off on a rant, like, we want you to bring more people in. It's not about that. It's about, if you love what me and Maddie are doing, tell other people. Tell your friends.
And it would also, in a way, prove a point that we're trying to make. Like, we don't need to spend money on promoting something. If something that we're actually bringing value is good, then it should grow organically on its own. We're just saying, show me the money. Like, if you have two,
Put
three,
your
or
money,
four
no,
friends,
you can put your money where your mouth is. But the problem is that the things that are the most popular, there are probably two guys doing exactly what we do, but not even as good. But they're like 100,000 more times more popular than us because they do pay money for ads.
yeah.
So there are probably people that are our age that have taken this idea either before us or after us or whatever, that are getting through to so many more people because they have money, you know. And that's what the problem is now with the world, is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Rich have money to inspire people. Even rich people that want to help out can spend a ton of money to be the first to be seen. Like, oh, I have $1 million. I want everybody tomorrow to see what I had to say about this, you know. But that's the problem. Very, 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 very rarely, I'd say like 0.01%, 5% of videos that are put online get to enormous amounts of views and support by millions, hundreds of thousands and millions of people, because we're doing a commercial basically, and we're not spending money on the commercial. Every show is a commercial now. You know, we're doing a commercial basically. Me and you right now, we're doing a commercial, and the only way that you can get that commercial, which is not a commercial, it's a show, but in a sense, it's totally a commercial because you're putting it out with a bunch of other things that people have to choose between. And our hosts are Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Now, these companies make money by showcasing the videos that they get paid to play, that get paid to be the first thing you see when you wake up. So it's a really thing, because yeah, you can put your video on our channel, but unless you pay us, nobody's going to see it. And the 25 to 30 to 40, 50 people that show up in the Smunday chat, if they don't tell other people, then we're just going to be two guys with 30, 40, 50 other guys talking every week, which is great. But if they want what we're saying to be more important than us just telling them over and over every week, then maybe they should grab 5 to 10 other people that should also know what we're saying and bring them in the room.
True.
Because we're just going to keep repeating ourselves week after week after week to the same people over and over and over and over. They're going to get tired of hearing what we're saying. If you think that what me and Maddie are saying is worth anything, then you would want to tell other people that don't know what we're talking about to come into the room. That's just what I think.
Yeah. And there's also not just there's bands in this room. I mean, for example, there's Atomic Annie. They're a band from Turku, Finland. They're an awesome rock and roll band, and they're another good example. Like those guys are awesome rock and roll band, but they're doing the same thing. They're fighting
Well,
through the
I know
noise
that if I was going to have my band show up in a no, I'm just saying that if I was in a band and I was in this room, like if my band was in this room, you said there are bands in this room right now.
yes.
Well, where are their fans? Like if I said, okay, I'm gonna go on this show and I'm gonna be in the room, all you guys should come in and be with us. It's just the band in the room. Where are their fans?
That's a good point because, okay, so if you were in a band and you were enjoying this show and you were in a rock or metal band,
right?
It would be cool for you to be like, hey, by the way, guys, in the past couple weeks, I brought an extra like 7 or 10 people in. It's like, oh, really? Well, maybe then we should have you guys as a guest on the show and we should talk.
Right, because maybe they're holding out by saying maybe they'll put us, because we're in a band, they'll put us as guests on the show. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You give, you get. Don't come into the room being a band. Oh, this band is in the room and we're from blah-de-da. This awesome rock and metal band is in the room right now. La-di-da. Well, we're not going to bring you on as guests. I'm not going to have you on as a guest unless you're going to contribute to what we're doing. It's not free airtime. It doesn't happen like that. We're not asking for money either. It's not free in the sense of pay us. It's not free in the sense of help us. Help us.
Come on, guys. They just said we don't have any fans. That's come on.
If you don't have any fans, then
they do, and that's the thing.
Maybe they don't. It's hard for any band that's new to not have fans, and that's why they have to worry about word of mouth too. Unless the bands that are in this room right now have money to fucking expose themselves, which is the problem. If they're in here and they don't have fans, then they're not going to get anywhere. They need to have their band supported by word of mouth before they can get in here and be exposed by us, who also have word of mouth.
And that's true. And I want to say to the guys in Atomic Annie, it goes out to everybody. It's people think they don't have fans because they think they're competing against hundreds of millions of people, but you're not.
They are.
But it's the 17 or the 30 people that actually like you. Those are your fans. So you do have fans, and you just need to grow on those.
First of all, if you have 17 to 30 fans, you must know them pretty goddamn well. If you're gonna be in a room where we're discussing rock and roll music, and your fans come into the room because you're in the room, maybe we'd say, wow, we have a lot of fans of this band in our room. Let's have them as a guest. Nobody is going to bring on a guest as a band that hasn't brought anybody into the room. Nobody takes that kind of chance.
There's another band I know. She's in a band here in Turku as well. There's quite a few bands watching this stream, and what I'm saying is, yeah, there's hundreds of millions of people you have to compete against, but you don't. I don't think you have to compete against hundreds of millions of people, because in the end, all those people are not really interested in most of the stuff that's going on. They're just there. People are on Instagram just to be there. There's only a few people that are actually interested in what you do. Those are the people you need to target, and it's not going to be through ads. It's just going to be from going on and making content that gets spread word of mouth, I think.
Well, it depends on how you make your ads, because there's a way to make advertisements where you could, if you're creative with, if you have a lot of money and you're creative with making advertisements, you could buy already 1 million views to make it look like you're trending, and then you can have people catch on from there. Like if your video shows up at the right times on all the formats, people are going to think it's trending, and then they're going to find out about it, and then they might like it. But like for this show to have 2 or 3 bands in it, but not to have anybody tune in for them, I don't get it. Like if I was going to be on like Jimmy Kimmel, and it's kind of like, all right, my band's going on Jimmy Kimmel right now, but I don't tell anybody that I'm going to be on Jimmy Kimmel. That's kind of like the larger, it's like the bigger thing about that. Like you've got to tell people that you're going to be somewhere. That's why, and that just proves my point. Like all these people that are coming up, even the ones that are interested in music, don't know how to promote themselves properly.
Well, that's a good example. If your band was going to,
2 bands in here.
there's more than 2. There's more than 2.
That's sad. That's sad.
But the thing is, Jimmy Kimmel is a good analogy. Like, if a band thinks they're going to be on Jimmy Kimmel, they think that they don't need to go out and tell their true fans because they're going to be on Jimmy Kimmel. And once they go on Jimmy Kimmel, they're going to be huge and famous. And that's the same thing people think when they're like, oh, I'm going to put $5,000 into promoting my new song. But if your song is like subpar and you're promoting it with all these millions of people, I think you're going about it way wrong. It's like,
yeah, but this is different. This is different. The analogy here is that you think that Jimmy Kimmel's going to handle it. Like,
right.
Tonight we have this awesome band on. You have to tune in. He doesn't even know you're going to be a guest. He's just doing his job.
That's true.
You have to tell people. And that's what I think it is. It's like I don't understand why everybody in here right now can't have 4 to 5 people show up next week, even if it is an inconvenient time slot. Mondays feel more like a green room. That's true. Yeah, it is inconvenient. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna tell your friends to tune in like 5 hours after they've gone to sleep, then yeah, I mean, obviously the time slot is causing us trouble, but it would be nice to see even that far. Like, no, wake up for it. Because if there was a band in here and all of a sudden 100 people shoveled in, I'd say, holy shit, why are all you people in here? Oh, we're here to see our friend's band. Oh, there's this awesome band in your room right now. We're like, Maddie, let's put him on the show.
Exactly. That's how it would work. And that would be awesome because that means we're going above and beyond what our show is about. Not only are we inspiring and trying to teach people rock and roll, it's like now bands that are coming on are bringing people on, and we're rewarding them and showing people like, hey, if you go on and you do these things, then you're going to get rewarded by getting some airtime and talking about your band. And, maybe even Darren or I will check out your band and
we would have to check out the band before. Yeah, we would have to check out the band before, because anybody can get 30 people in a room and have a shitty band. But yeah, we would have to check out the band and be like, but it would have to be thought out beforehand. But I'm just saying that, like, just because you're in a band doesn't mean that you're going to get some kind of attention.
Yeah, no. But is it easy for any band to bring 30 or 40 people in a room? I actually think that it's not that easy for somebody to bring 30
I would
to
bring
40
it if it were me in 1999, I would bring 100 people into the room. Easily. Yeah, and that's why I am where I am. I would have 100 people, maybe 150. Yeah.
Well, it's very difficult today, but you're saying, it's not. you know, you're right. Somebody could bring 30 or 40 people next week, and we could have 70 people watching live if they wanted to, if they really tried. If they
if
would
they
actually
try
have,
to. But that's a test of their ambition and their
yeah,
passion.
that's
Because
true.
next week, as I'm assuming, next week when that doesn't happen, then I'll just be right about what I think about today's bands is that we made a band. We have good songs. I write songs. Let's go into this room and hope that they have us as a guest. It's not going to work like that. It doesn't work like that.
It's hilarious because right now I'm producing this band out of Turku. They're 20-year-old kids, and they had some show in the middle of the woods like a few weeks ago, and they were batshit crazy. They're like, we got this show. It's a private show. There's only going to be 30 or 40 people there, and they were so hell bent that as soon as they play this show, they were just going to spontaneously explode and be like super mega stars, and it was just going to be their career changer. And I'm just trying to be like, guys and gal, calm down. It's a show. It's not going to make or break your career. It doesn't work this.
That's the damage done by the internet, because the stories that these bands watch is that you write a song, you get together, your song is maybe good, probably not. Your song is good, and then boom, 5 million. They have no idea how much harder the work is now than ever before to get anybody to even want to spit in your face. Like, it's not even, no, it does not work like that. Not even close. And you know what? It's sad to say, but the reality of it is that nobody watching this is ever going to make it in the music business. They're not.
Well,
Nobody watching this right now, no bands that are ever going to watch this, whether it's live or whether it's later on YouTube or whatever streaming channel, you are not going to make it as a musician. The only thing that could prove me wrong is if they do. That's it.
And you know what Darren's doing? He's trying to make everybody that's watching this want to prove him wrong. He's not being a dick. Prove him wrong.
That's true. I'm not. But I also really believe that nobody that is in a rock band or an artist that is watching this right now, I really do believe they're not going to make it. Not even close. Now, the day that I'm proved wrong will be the happiest fucking day of my life.
Yeah.
But so far, the fact that they're not willing to work with what we're doing or with whatever everybody else is doing to get them exposure without having to shell out loads of cash, which is not how it worked back then. All bands were poor in the 70s and 80s. Those bands were poor. They relied on, okay, we play a show, 20 people show up. If they like it, they bring their friends. Nobody's bringing their friends. And until you learn to fucking bring your friends into even a digital world where everything is streaming, you ain't getting anywhere. So I'm just going to tell you that right now.
It's a good example. It's the mind frame of the younger bands. Like I said, you know, this band that I'm producing, Velvet Division now, I'm just producing this band. They were so crazy about the show. Now, they had another chance last weekend. They played on a Friday night here in town, Friday night. And they were kind of like blowing me off. They're like, you know what, we got this. We'll talk to you like after the show. And like they were trying to like puff their chests up. They're like, yeah, you know, we don't even know if we're going to need you anymore, Matthew. You know, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I watched their video. They posted a video on YouTube or some shit. There was one person filming the show, and that was it. It was a Friday night, so they couldn't even bring people. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about this band because I
Why
like.
not?
I like.
Why not?
But
you're
you're
a teacher. Say something bad about them. My teachers used to say bad things about me all the time. You're not paying attention. You're not doing your homework. You suck. Tell this band that they're way off. They're way off the target. They are nowhere near where they think they are, and you know that. So you're gonna be pussified. You're afraid to tell them what the truth is.
No, I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is that the truth will hit them and they will understand that all these two shows that they just played, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Who cares? And you
Did
know
you
what?
guys?
But the problem is that if they're a band that is hoping for people to care within 5 to 10 shows, then they're going to give up. That's what separates who makes it from who doesn't. If you think that what you're doing is going to happen, and I'm not talking about just music, I'm talking about anything artistically, anything at all, anything that you know how to do. If you think that it's going to happen after 3 or 4 times where you expose what you do to other people and it doesn't happen, the test is whether you're going to keep doing it after that kind of failure. So if they've already got you, if after 2 shows they already have you under the, sorry man, I don't think we're going to need you anymore, I'm Kurt Cobain now, then that's not going to work. And then somebody is going to, whoever that person is that told you that, whatever front man, lead guitar player, songwriter guy told you that, is going to get his ass kicked by somebody who really likes what he's doing, whether people like it or not. So he's going to keep doing it. That's the secret to making it in a creative business, is that even failure after failure, rejection after rejection, you're still doing it.
Well, the thing is, the ass kicking that they're going to get is going to be by me, first of all, because they disrespected me by even.
Then you drop them. You drop them.
And the thing is, I put in so much.
There's 20 others like them. You drop them. If somebody's going to disrespect your help, dude, come on, man. If somebody's going to disrespect your help right off the bat like that, you say, you know what? Bye-bye. I got 20 other people. And you do. You have 20 other people that are just as good, or if not better, that want the help and that want to help you, that want you to help them, and they want to help you. So why are you going to spend some time with some fucking prima donna that doesn't have it in them to go on? They're going to dismiss you already. They don't know what they're doing. You move on to the next. And those are the people that fail, the people that think that they should be stars right as soon as they get on stage. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen in this room. It doesn't happen when you're helping somebody. And it surely wouldn't happen if somebody came to me and said, yo, can you help my band? Sure. Well, let me hear something. Okay, I like it. Yeah, okay, well, now, you know what? Thanks, Darren. We're cool. All right, go succeed or fail on your own.
Well, people in this room know the band that I'm talking about. And the thing is, I put in like a year of my work developing this band, okay? So I want to have a discussion with them before I go bye-bye. I want to have a discussion with them, and I want to see if now, after these things have happened, if they can say, you know what, Matthew, you were right. We're sorry.
Okay, you know what?
If they do that.
All right. I see what's going on. Okay, so you're giving them an ultimatum, but I'm telling you to already get rid of them. I don't know them. I don't care about them. I haven't heard their music. I don't give a shit about this band that's in the room. I'm just telling you that they have no chance in hell of doing anything if they're going to step on people that are trying to help them. Okay? Then, not only do they have to worry about staying with the person that believed them in the first place, but they have to also worry about being any good. Your opinion of them might not mean much to anyone else. Unless you have a lot of money to make them look good. What was I going to say? Oh, your time? Fuck your time. Fuck how much time you put into it. You can't tell the world, well, I put in a year with this band, so I think that this whole world owes me, my time back. Your time ain't worth shit. You can spend 3 years polishing a turd and nobody's going to give a fuck. So I hope this band maybe is learning from me. I don't give a shit about you. Maybe Matt does. Maybe Matt's taking his personal time to work with you and help you out. But I don't give a fuck about your band. and neither will anyone else unless you do what you have to do.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that they should have done, I hope I didn't go to their show. Their show was right down the street from my house. I didn't go, right? Why would I go, right? Right.
Why would you go?
But the thing is, if there was one person there, what they should have done is rocked out as hard as they could and try to get that one person to actually follow the band and be interested. Because that's what I would have done if I was playing for one person. I don't know if they did that. I doubt that they did that. They probably
Well, how old are these guys?
21, 22.
Well, that's too young. You know, the 21-year-olds expect people they don't know about social interaction, so obviously they're not going to know to go out there and get people interested in the outside of their houses, in the outside of their practice space. Obviously. So they probably said, oh, Maddie will take care of it, but at the same time, we're going to make them feel like we don't need them, and that magically all of a sudden all these people are going to show up and care. People love to not care about your band. Whatever bands are in this room right now, I love the fact that I don't know who your band is and that I don't give a shit about your band. What you have to do is make me find out and make me give a shit. But in the meantime, I love to hate your band right now. So
it's awesome to
use that.
No, it's awesome because a lot of people are afraid to say these things, or they don't even know that they should be saying these things. But it's so true. The fact that you're saying, I love that I hate your band, I love that I don't know who you are, and I don't give a shit who you are. And guess what? Tomorrow I will continue not to give a shit who you are until you give
I won't
me
even
a reason
do that.
to give a shit.
I won't even remember to not give a shit. If you don't give a shit, you forget, and I'm definitely going to forget. So I don't know what to say. Like, these dudes aren't doing their homework. These kids are too young. They think they're going to – you don't fly by the seat of your pants. You fucking make a nuisance of yourself. That's a secret to anything.
I agree with you 100%. Like, if you don't give me or Darren or the guy next door a reason to give a shit about your band, then you're doing something wrong. Give people a reason to give a shit about you,
you're doing something
and then they'll
wrong.
start giving a shit about you.
Right. Or maybe not.
It's brilliant.
Or maybe not.
That is brilliant. This is brilliant.
That's
right
why.
here.
That's why it's broken down. It's broken down into such small categories. You know, the people that make a dent, that are able to accumulate a fan base, it's such a small percentage, and there's reasons that your band is not a part of that.
Thank you, Mags. Mag622 is saying that I gave them so much exposure. Listen, I'm going to have a talk with this band. This is my personal thing that I'm working on.
Fuck
of course,
this band.
Darren.
I hate this band. I'll never like it.
I know Darren
hate
doesn't
them already because
I'm not even going to
already
say
didn't appreciate. They're not doing.
Yeah.
Don't say who they are, because they're not doing their homework. They don't know what they're doing. Nobody gives a shit about them, and they jumped the gun and thought that people did, and disrespected you before they even knew what they were doing. It doesn't work that way. You're way off. Whatever bands are watching right now, you are way, I'm talking years off from doing the right thing. You haven't made a nuisance of yourself. I think that's the key to everything. I think that pretty much sums it up. I can go into every detail. I can go and say every little detail that it takes, but the title of the essay here, if you're going to write a 50-page, 60-page, 100-page essay, the title of it should be "Make a Nuisance of Yourself."
Well, let me also say something. Just because Darren knows this, and I know this too, knowing this is still not going to just give you the power to be successful. There's still so much you got to do, and if anybody knows the secret of that, please let me know.
There was a band that were multimillionaires. The drummer was the heir to Johnson and Johnson, and he decided he was going to start a band.
I know who you're talking about.
Can you tell me the name of that band? Because I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I do know.
No, you can't remember it. Because no matter how much they spent on making their show look better than ours, people didn't care. So in some instances, it doesn't matter how much money you have, which totally is hypocritical to what I said before. But if you're bad and you spend a lot of money, and this was a bad band, you spend a lot of money to be on, because they bought their way on tour. They said, this band wants to give you 50 grand to go on tour with you. And I'm like, well, what do they sound like? That shit, I don't know. Okay, if they're going to give us 50 grand, that'll pay for the tour. So we let them open for us, and they had a chance. They had a chance to prove themselves in front of an audience that likes real music, and they flopped. On the whole tour, they didn't sell one T-shirt.
They also
Not
got booed
one.
off stage several times.
Booed off the stage. They've had pyro and lights and all this great shit. Booed off the stage. People can tell when things are not.
But that's an example of a Johnson & Johnson heir that had tons of money, because we bumped into that band a few tours afterwards, and we found out that the Johnson & Johnson, the drummer of the band, decided that he was going to produce the band and have another drummer play. So he had 2 tour buses, one for him and his family and one for the band that he was watching. Yeah.
You can have 100 tour buses. You can have 100 tour buses and be booked at a club and show up and nobody's fucking there. Nobody gives a shit. Doesn't matter. You have to be good and get word of mouth, or you could be good and have some money, maybe promote yourselves a little bit.
But that's an interesting example because he did do it. He got to go on tour with tour buses, and he did it. It was bullshit, but he did it. The band that I'm talking about, the band that has, starting from scratch, that has no following, that maybe doesn't want to listen to me sometimes, they don't have the money to go on tour and do that. So they really need to, like, listen. They should listen. I'm going to have a talk with them. And I hope they listen to me.
Now they have negative interest from me. Like, now I was at 0 and now I'm at like negative 15. So they're going to have to do something to get you back at nothing. And so that's just what happens when, like, you've never heard a band, but you heard of their behavior. You heard something they did that was bad, and you haven't even heard their music to see if that it's worth caring after they did something bad. Like, if I heard an amazing song from this band after what I said tonight, maybe I'd be like, you know what, you're right. Maybe they know what they're doing, and yeah, we beat them up a little bit. But so far, all I know is that I haven't heard their music. They're just another band. There's tons of great bands out there. I don't know what they sound like. All I know is what they've done behavior-wise, and what they've tried to do to get into the business so far has been a piss poor, terrible example of what you should do to fucking do anything.
Really quick, I will say they're good kids, and the thing is, they got the first glimpse of being rock stars. And I said, put your egos aside. And they claim they don't have egos. But I said, guys, put your egos aside.
Of course they do.
It's a show. Just fucking play the show or don't. But guess what? It's not going to matter. Just don't worry about it. But they worried about it. They thought it was going to make or break their career. In their defense, it was their It was their first real show that they've ever played. They were excited, so I'll give that to them. But now they got to talk to me about everything that's happened, and they have to listen to me.
I'm not giving it to them. You know why? Because they could have found – this is why I'm saying these kids are too young to go out there and do this shit, because they haven't done their homework. They spent all their time online. Bring your fucking friends. If you're going to play a show and you can't even bring fucking 10 friends, 20 friends – 30 friends is low. That's a low amount. Can't even bring 30 friends to come see you play. Dude, you're not doing anything. You're expecting somebody. You think the club is going to send out invitations to come see you play?
You know what?
Fuck you. You're not going to fuck. You're not doing shit. Nobody's going to fucking give a shit.
You know what they also didn't do? They didn't even ask me to go. They didn't even ask me to go. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I would have been the second person in the room if you would have asked me, guys and gals.
What? The lead singer of this band is going to be putting windows in for people that don't have windows in their houses. They're going to be stocking toilet paper at Walmart.
They also might think that I'm mad
Which
at
is
them.
fine if that's what you want to do. I mean, some people are cool with that. But
I'm not mad. I'm not an angry person. I don't get angry. I'm not mad at them. I just want them to understand that I've been doing this for 25, 30 years. Just listen to some of the stuff I have to say because I kind of know what I'm doing. And you don't. Yeah. And you don't. So just listen to me and maybe we'd be somewhere. But I'll have that talk with them and it'll be interesting. I hope that they don't get mad at me. Because then I'll have to say goodbye.
No. I hope they don't get mad. I say you should drop them on their asses right now and don't talk to them from this point on.
Well, I should.
Somebody that wants help from somebody that has been experienced wants to keep that help. So they don't respect the help that they're getting from somebody that's been through it. Then you say fucking goodbye. Later.
Look, and that's
Bye-bye.
That's the thing, because I don't know
Drop
everything.
them on their ass.
All the answers. I don't know all the answers, but what I'm saying
you
is
don't need
I've
to
been
know all
through,
the answers to know that.
Yeah.
No.
I've had my first show.
Maybe.
Right? I've had my first show. I know what it's like. It's a show, and guess what? You go on and
Yeah,
you
but
play more.
That was back before. That was back before all this shit where people made you feel like you were important before you were. You know.
That's true. You know, it's true.
Kids
Back when in the I couldn't say the 80s, but in the mid 90s, if you just had a tape cassette demo and you were in a band, people just were like, "Oh my God, you're fucking awesome." That's all you had to do.
Right.
You know? But nowadays,
unless you stop.
if you don't have 100,000 followers on your band page, people are just like,
Yeah, but the problem is that you can buy followers. So the whole thing is a goddamn mess.
Oh, I know.
It's
buying followers mess. Is sad.
They're called robo-followers. They're robo-followers. They're not real accounts. They're not real people. You pay somebody to give you a certain amount of followers so that you look impressive to potential investors.
Hey, Darren, Mag622 says, Darren, did you have someone like help you when you started?
No. Because I accepted my failures and I appreciated any help from anybody with any experience. No. You know what? I deserve to be shoveling cow shit or building houses or doing construction work if I really enjoyed what I was doing and I had turned down any help from somebody with experience. I deserve to not be successful. So that's why I'm saying that anybody that had treated you like that in the last couple of weeks doesn't deserve shit from you. And that's why I'm urging you to drop them on their asses. But you don't do that. If you care about what you do, then you accept help from everybody. Anybody that wants to help you. Because nobody wants to help a fucking band with 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds. They don't even know what that is, most of them.
Well, to be continued. I'll let you know what happens next week when I talk to them this week.
Oh, I can't wait.
But hey, but also the bands that are watching, Robin and I Know and Queen. Bring some people on next week. And if we see a spike, if there's 70 people and somebody's in there saying, hey, we brought some people to the show, then we will have definitely consider having you on and chatting with you about how you even did it. I would love to know how you brought 30 people on. What did you do? Did you talk to them personally and send them messages? Did you make an Instagram post? Did you call people on the phone? How did you do it?
Right. And isn't it sad that that would be impressive?
It would. Well,
it'll
if
be
it happens,
impressive, but it's sad that that little thing will be impressive. Yeah.
But guess what? It's not going to happen.
It's probably not. Just like what I said earlier, if you're in a band and you're in this room, you're not going to make it. It's not going to happen.
I love that. I love that because people are like, whoa, what the fuck? What are you talking about? It's like, guys, think about it. He's being clever. He wants you to succeed by saying that you're going to fail. He wants you
and
to
I
say,
can tell you, you know what's funny? This situation happened to me. I sent a Foreign Objects CD out to somebody that had a really big magazine, an underground magazine, and his name was Chris Forbes. And he was the owner of a magazine called The Wild Rag. Now look it up. He trashed the CD. And I wrote to him and I said, blah, 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 blah. How can you say all this? Blah, 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 blah. I'm working so hard. I put in so much hours. Nobody cares how much time you put in. Okay. He wrote back and said, look, there's a lot of bands out there. There's a lot of things going on. It's not going to happen for you. Now, if it ever does, you just let me know. Now, 15 years later, I wrote back to him and I said, look, I'm just writing to let you know that it happened. So I would love to be proven wrong, but I have a feeling I'm right. Because I've already done this. I've already had somebody tell me that meant a lot, somebody that meant a lot to me, somebody that was very inspiring, somebody that did something that I followed. That did a fanzine that I followed. Chris Forbes. He did this fanzine. He did this magazine. I made sure I got it every month. I subscribed to the magazine. It came in my mailbox. I wanted to impress this guy. And I sent him the Foreign Objects CD and he was like, eh. And I was like, look, dude, we spent a lot of time and money on this. Don't matter. He said, does not matter. Does not matter. Well, here's what matters. And he told me all the things that matter. And he was mostly right. If he was really right, his magazine would still be around. But the point is that he said at the bottom, look, it's never going to happen for you. But just in case it does, let me know. So 10 years later, I let him know. No. That's what they're all dealing with.
Well, I say we wrap it up. We wrap it up this week. It was a great show, and I thought there was some really good points this week. But hey, next week I will be posting for people if they're interested, if they want to try to bring some people on. Let's see if you guys can get to work. I know it's the most inconvenient time, but
I mean, I know that a lot of people on here are loners and they keep to themselves. And I was a lot like that too. I am a lot like that. But I mean, I know there's people in here that can go and bring like 6, 7 people, to hear what we have to say. And if they can't, then maybe there aren't anybody out there but loners. So I hope I'm proven wrong on that. But it's up to them. I'll do the show next week with 20 people. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, let's see some effort from the people watching.
Because the thing is, if a band brings on some people, it's also basically saying, I agree with what the whole point of the show is, and I'm just trying to expose it to more people. And that would be a very it would show camaraderie, and it would be a very nice thing. Very nice gesture for a band that's looking.
It would also be a great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you can interrupt. I know's here.
I was just
She
going to
said
say,
interesting.
no, it would also be a great way for them to say, look, you dickheads, I just quadrupled the amount of people in this room. Have me as a guest. Talk about me. Talk about me. I'm the reason why people are in this room. They want to hear about me, not you. And I'd be like, let's bring them on.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I want to say, I know she's in one of the bands, and she said, interesting discussion here. It's important to be realistic about this. And a lot of people don't put it that way. A lot of people are too nice, like me sometimes, right? We're too nice. We don't say things that people actually need to say.
I don't. You're too nice. I'm too nice.
I can not be nice sometimes, but I try to be nice all the time. I don't know.
Well,
but,
who doesn't? I don't know anybody that says I work really hard to not be nice. I try to be mean. No, you're nice until you have a reason not to be nice. And I think you had a reason not to be nice, but you continued to be. And that's why you got walked all over. Somebody walked all over your ass.
I started.
You know, you give an inch, they take a mile. If you're going to keep giving inches.
I started my journey of being tough today on this episode because I've been talking about it out loud. But I will have a private discussion with these individuals this week, and we will see how they feel after my discussion. But I know, bring some people on, and maybe we'll have you come on. And Atomic Robin, bring some people on. Maybe we'll have you guys come on. You know, whatever. Do it or don't. It's okay. We'll be here either way, right? So it doesn't matter. But that should be the goal for next week, to see if we can get one of the bands that are watching this to bring some of their fans on.
Not even the bands, but just anybody that wants to see this show succeed maybe should put in a little bit of effort, because there could be a time where either one of us, me or you, could say, you know what, we're really not we're just repeating ourselves to the same people every week. Maybe they've heard enough. Maybe we've said all that we can say. It's not growing. It's not, maybe we shouldn't do it anymore. Like everybody that tunes in, the same people that tune in every week, maybe we have nothing more to say to them. All we're just doing is complaining at this point, because we've already said everything that we could say to this group. If they choose not to help us expand the audience without us shelling out money to promote it, which would be a bad idea, then let's call it a day. It's just try something else. Try a different format of a show. Me and you could talk about movies we love and hate. We could come on with masks, not even tell people who we are. There's tons of things for us to do. We don't have to cater to these people that are trying to use us. And if they're trying to use us, it's just, I don't know. I'm just putting everything out there.
I like the mask idea.
Yeah. Do the show like different title, different time. You just put on masks and go from there. I mean, it won't be much difference. Yeah. So. And
I like Jurassic Park.
Like I said, I'll always talk. I always talk over you. You're always frozen. I don't know when you're talking. I don't know when I'm talking, and it's not showing up. Yeah, I'll talk as much as anybody wants, but eventually it's just going to be the same shit repeated over and over, unless you have new people to talk to. So it's just all about that. If you want to be a guest on the show, bring people in.
Yeah, like Mag 622, you could definitely bring some people on, and we would love to talk to you. But the thing is that the band specifically, it would be great if a band does actually follow through and bring 20 or 30 people, because it would be great to talk to the band to see what they're dealing with right now in their musical career, and to see if there's anything that we could suggest to them or learn from.
I don't care about the band. I don't care about that band at all. I care about somebody that brings people into the room. If somebody brings an audience to our show, they're the star of the show.
That's true. Especially if it's an audience of real people, not just like you know, fake followers.
No, it's like
you can't.
If somebody in this room said, "Look, 100 people, I want you to come on this show because Maddie and Darren are people that, you know, I'm into, and I would like to be a guest on their show, and we could all talk about something that we're all three of us are interested in, and it would be cool if you could all tune in." And if all of a sudden there was this huge spike, I'd be like, "Why are there so many people in the room?" Then people would start saying, "It's because so-and-so told us to show up." Well, I would say to you, Maddie, okay, well, whoever so-and-so is, we better bring him in as a guest because they brought the audience. So obviously these people want to hear from them. And then we'll bring them on, and whatever they have to say, we talk about.
Yeah.
And that's
I love that idea. I love that idea.
Yeah, that's the way
awesome.
it works for
Yeah.
anything.
Well, we'll see what happens
Don't
next
ask
week.
if you're in an entertainment field, don't ask for favors, because the people that can do favors for you love to say no. So don't do that. Don't do that. There's no free lunch. Nobody asked for money. They just love to say no. I don't know why they love to say no, but they do. I love to say no. And somebody says, "Yo, Darren, I have this great demo. Can you play it on your show?" I'll listen to it. If I hate it, I can't wait to tell you no. So that's just the way it works. It's just the way it is. It's the way it was done for me. It was the way I was treated. It's the way you should be treated. It's the way everybody should be treated that's trying to do anything creatively. Make a nuisance of yourself.
And with that, we should end the show.
Okay.
Good note.
Make a nuisance of yourself. If you don't, forget about it. Learn something else. Go to community college. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Rock and roll. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.